for yet another opportunity to get it right. As a matter of fact, truth be told, what does getting it right and pressing on have to do with each other? I'm glad you asked. As a child of God, he gave me the opportunity. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, it's personal, it's personal. Each and every one of us, we have been given the unction to make sure that we have a personal relationship with God. I ain't trying to get up in your business, truth be told. I don't have time to get up in your business because I got enough business of my own trying to get right with God, staying on track with God. But he gave me the opportunity to get it right by allowing you and I to press on through some stuff that's been trying to get in the way of what he has in store for us. Now I'm gonna pause for 30 seconds, and I don't know who you are that's been praying about a situation in your life that keeps constantly trying to attack you, your family, and your household. But God says to get on your feet right now and tell the devil that he is a liar, because I'm pressing through some stuff. I'm pressing through some situation. I'm pressing through some obstacles. Is there anybody in this place on this evening that's excited because God says it's time to press through? Yeah. Back in the day, y'all be seated. Back in the day when we used to have church bishop, before we had praise teams and all of these kind of individuals, back in the day when we used to have church. Nowadays, we waiting on the praise and worship leader. We waiting on the musician. But back in the days when we used to have church, I'm talking about the windows of toe tapping, feet stomping. Does anybody know anything about them days? But back in the day when we used to have church, there would always be some choir member that would stand up out the choir and sing a song called I'm Pressing On. Some of y'all too young to know about that. The upward way. Anybody know about I'm pressing on? New heights I'm gaining. But God has given each and every one of us the ability to be able to press through some stuff. Anybody in here feel like preaching with me on this evening as a living example and evidence of what pressing on can do for you in your life if you just let God have his way? Is there anybody that's honest enough to say, you know what, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of dealing with the same old stuff, same old people, negative situation. I'm pressing on and I'm pressing through, and I'm determined to let God have his way. Life sometimes, Bishop, can be trivial. Life sometimes can be trying. Life sometimes can send us down a one-way street to where we really don't understand what it is that God is trying to do with us. But sometimes in life, especially as ministers, sometimes God will get us by ourselves so that we can find ourselves. Somebody shall preach, Pastor. Sometimes God will get us by ourselves so that we can find ourselves. Just nudge your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I'm pressing on, I'm pressing on. And for those that don't understand what pressing on means, just tell them I'm over it and you. Yeah. We ain't got to say girl bye or bye Felicia. We just got to say I'm over it and you. I'm trying to preach to some real folk in this house on this evening that can be honest enough to know that you need to tell some situation, I'm over it and over you. Walk on by. I wish I could preach like I feel it in this house. I'm over here and you. Imagine how better off your life could and would be if you just shared that statement with some stuff, some people, some issues that keep trying to hinder you. I'm pressing on. And here, as we get ready to peruse the perimeter for prepared preaching of the text, we find Paul. Paul here in the text, the Apostle Paul. He was at a point within his ministry. Ministers, all of us, we have a ministry. Amen. And everybody's ministry is not proclamation. God says everybody wasn't designed to go behind the pulpit. See, there's some prisoners that need somebody preaching to them. There's some young folk that need somebody showing. Everybody wasn't cut out to go behind the pulpit. But just because you wasn't cut out for that, you need to know what your ministry is, and you need to put your best foot forward. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, feet don't fail me yet. Some of y'all, you don't understand that right there. Feet don't. In other words, God, as long as you give my feet the ability to touch the ground, I'm going to do whatever it is that you have called me to do. I'm pressing. I'm pressing. 4 minutes we ride. I'm pressing. Paul here, the apostle, was at a point within his ministry and life that caused him to have a face-to-face conversation with the Philippians about what all they had been through and where they were trying to go. Sometimes as pastors, apostles, and bishops, we have to have talks that we don't want to have. That's when you have to do like back in the old days, that if you wasn't a member of the church and you need to have a emergency meeting, you put up that one finger. Bishop, sometimes we have to talk to our people. We have to lock the doors and we have to talk to them in a way that they can understand what it is that we are trying to do in this thing called ministry. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, we all need a talking to. We all. Ain't you glad that somebody talked to you? I'm glad somebody talked to me when I was out here in my foolish ways. Didn't know if I were coming or going. Truth be told, I'm glad somebody prayed for me when I didn't have sense enough to pray for myself. It's okay to have a talking to. Amen. So he was talking to the Philippians about what all they had been through and where they were trying to go. And then there's a saying that I've heard in this thing called life, that there's a saying that says, it's not where you're at, but it's where you want to be. I wish I could preach it like I feel it. It's not where you're at, but it's where you want to be. Is there anybody in this house on this evening that's just trying to go somewhere, do something different that will bring better results? If so, just nudge your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I'm pressing on. Paul here in the text, 2 minutes and we're done. Paul here in the text, he was pressing the Philippians for something better. Can we have church Sunday school, church 101? There's a statement that I always make, and it simply goes a little something like this. If I always do what I always done, I'll always get what I always got. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, if you want to be better, try something different. Paul in the text, Paul says we got to learn how to press. First off in the text, there is the position. There is the position of pressing. In other words, Paul says, look, he says, you just can't press any kind of way. You know how it is as a parent, and maybe in your household, you try to raise your kids, you try to teach them at an early age how to iron. And kids these days are a little smarter than what we are, because they'll act like they don't know how to iron to keep you ironing their clothes. I'm going to close on the wrinkles. We'll get there in 3 minutes. Yeah. But in other words, there is a way of pressing. But see, the way that I come up, you got it. And it wasn't no timeout or anything like that. We got knocked out. Oh, you don't know how to iron? Let me teach you. Pressing has its position. There's a position of what good is it going to do you to start the iron up and there ain't no water in the iron? Pressing has its position. Somebody shout position. In life, everybody does whatever it takes to make sure that they're in the right position to get the position. Can I drive on position? Paul here in the text began to position himself for the pressing. Look at your neighbor and ask your neighbor, are you in good position? Are you sometimes we can look like $1 million and not have $2. Are you anybody in talk to me? Somebody, you know how to put some stuff together, baby. And I'm talking about you come to church and you sharp and they just don't know you've been down the street at Goodwill, but you look Sunday sharp. It wasn't about where you went to get it. It's about what you done when you put it on. It's yeah. That's why I make sure I got tired of coming down here and seeing y'all in y'all white. Y'all ain't noticed every time I come here now. I'm in some white or cream. I got tired of coming down here and y'all looking all sharp. Yeah, if you can't beat them, join them. Yeah. That's why I didn't take offense when you told me how good I look. I know I look good. But see, I got tired of coming down here looking y'all all sharp. It's all about, am I okay, Bishop? It's all about the position. Paul says, he says, let me make sure I'm right before I come at y'all. In other words, Paul says, let me sweep around my own front door. Am I right? Paul says, he says, let me sweep around my own front door before I try to sweep around you. In other words, Paul here in the text, he began to position himself for the pressing, because this is what Paul said. He said, this one thing I do. In other words, I ain't trying to tell you how to run your house. But Paul says, this one thing that I do. He says, forgetting those things which are behind. See, Paul was trying to position himself for the pressing. The position is progressing from your past. Let me help somebody out. Did you not know it's the devil's main mission to bring up your past? Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, we all got a past. Did none of us plop out of the womb saved? We talk to me, church. We all got a past, but this is what the devil does. The devil makes a habit out of trying to throw up our past in our face to keep us from getting wherever it is that God wants us to go. But I need somebody to stand up right now and tell the devil, I'm over my past. You can't use the old me to get to the new me. I know what I used to do. I know I used to drink. I know I used to get high. I know I wasn't the individual that I should have been. I'm over my past. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, forget about your past. Truth be told, can't nobody tell my story better than me anyway. If you want to know anything about me, just ask me. Somebody do like this, my past is in. Yeah. 2 minutes. It's in. You need to let the devil know it's in the past. It's in the past. Can't nobody tell my story like I can tell it. Don't add to it and don't take away. I know what I used to be. I used to be a mess. But if it had not been for the Lord on my side, tell me, where would I be? The position. There is the position of pressing. Somebody shout progress. If you want to get what God is trying to take you, you got to meet your past smack dead front center in the middle to let that scoundbuggy, to let that devil know that I'm over it. All of us in here used to be an ex something. I don't care what church you go to, is a mega church, who your bishop is, he was an ex something too. All of us, we have a past. Am I preaching to anybody on this evening that's excited enough to say, you know what, God, I ain't taking nothing back that I went through. I had to go what I went through in order for me to get where I'm at on today. Look at your neighbor and shout, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I had to go through what I went through in order to get here. And secondly, we have the potential of pressing. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, you look like you got potential. Is it okay, Bishop? You know how it is when we were young. Oh, yeah, you know when we first met him and somebody asked you, girl, who you with? Don't worry about all that. But he looked like he got some. I wish I could preach it like I feel it in this house. Paul said here in the text, he says, not only is there the position of pressing, he says there is the potential of pressing. Where are you going, Pastor? Pressing has potential. In other words, after getting in the right position, then there is the potential. That's good news for somebody on this evening that's been praying for their breakthrough. I'm going to give you 30 seconds just to go ahead and get on your feet and bless God right now. I come by to serve notice on you in this house on this evening that you have potential for your breakthrough. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, he may not come when you want him to, but he's always on time. Somebody shout potential. You might just get what it is that you've been praying for. Is there anybody that can be honest enough to say that my prayers have potential and I'm pressing through this situation? Okay. So it's good news. 2 minutes. I sold my tickets. It don't even matter. It's good news to hear that whatever, you heard me, Brother James, didn't you? Whatever you've been praying for has potential. Paul proclaimed the potential of pressing by saying, after forgetting about his past, he says, I press. Man, I'm trying to help somebody. After forgetting about his past, Bishop, he said, I press towards the mark. Ministry 101. Somebody needs to know the reason why the people who were in this place on this morning, the reason why they not in here on this evening is simply because you after something that they are not after. I'm just preaching, Bishop. I'm just telling what thus says the Lord. That's why I don't mind when my bishop say we have a 3:30 service in the evening, because I'm after something. I ain't just going through the motion. I'm tossing and I'm turning, I'm praying, I'm prophesying, I'm praising, I'm worshiping. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I'm here because I'm after something. Man, Bishop, they after something. Yeah, I just don't understand it. One service ain't enough for me. I need all the Jesus I can get in me. Amen, somebody. But the reason why you're here is because you're after something. You're pressing towards the mark. Okay? Am I doing all right? So I come to deposit in your spirit that whatever it is that you're pressing for, it has the potential, but you gotta stay on the right mark. All right. So ministers, when Bishop get all up in your Kool-Aid and tell you what flavor it is with no sweetener, amen. You gotta take it and keep pressing towards the mark. Okay, maybe you didn't get ministers. It's our job as bishops, as pastors, as elders, as leaders. It's our job to lead and feed. It's your job to follow and swallow. Man, I'm trying to help somebody. I'm just on assignment for God. It's our job to lead and feed. It's your, even when you don't understand, you just know that there is a God who sits high and looks low, and that has deposited in your man or your woman of God what it is that you need. Just follow and swallow. All right. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Am I all right? So it's good news to hear that whatever you've been praying for, it has potential. Paul proclaimed the potential of pressing by saying, I press towards the mark. Somebody shout potential. Now here it is. There are some mornings that we wake up, a minute and a half, I promise you this time. There are some mornings that we wake up that we just don't feel it. There's somebody right now is thinking about how they gonna call out of work on tomorrow. There's some mornings that you just don't feel it. And sometimes Vanderbilt can tell when I've had a morning that I just really don't feel it. Those are those mornings that I go to work and I'm a little wrinkled. Watch what God does. Those are the mornings when I just don't feel it. And I look different. But just because I have some wrinkles in my life, that doesn't mean that I'm still not appointed and anointed by God. I'm trying to help somebody in this house on tonight, on this evening. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I may have some wrinkles, but I'm still appointed and anointed by God. Don't you make no mistake. God still can use me. And sometimes in life, God will wipe out the wrinkles in our lives. Okay. So even though I've dealt with some wrinkles in my life, now there's some of you women folk, you can't stand wrinkles. You just can't stand it for your man. I mean, they don't take care of a man like they used to back in the day, bitch. Back in the day, y'all hear me, older folk. The woman used to make sure you wasn't leaving out the house with a wrinkle. Y'all need to teach some of these younger women these days. Y'all need to teach them two things: how to cook and how to iron. Lord, but we have to thank God for the wrinkles that we experience in our life. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I don't know what you're going through, but it's just a wrinkle. So keep pressing towards tomorrow. Am I helping anybody? Last but not least, so we understand that we have the position of pressing. We have the potential of pressing. But last but not least, and I'm done, we have the power of pressing. All right. Just nudge your neighbor and tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, there's power in pressing. Okay, let me break this down and then we out of here. One thing that I had to learn about that old iron is that if you didn't put any water in it to produce some steam, then the wrinkles couldn't be ironed out. Man, are y'all feeling this word in this house on this evening? God says that he's getting ready to open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing. He's getting ready to put some water in your spirit in order that all of the wrinkles that you are dealing with will be steamed out of your life. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, life will bring about some changes that come and go. But the good news is the Bible, it says, I press. Let me slow myself down. Bishop, it says, forget about those things that are in the past. And if you in here and you want God to erase your past, get on your feet and give God a past praise. Let the devil know I'm praising him for my past. Grab your neighbor's hands and tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, sometimes you got to look like pressing. Sometimes you got to walk like you're pressing. Sometimes you got to talk like you're pressing. And sometimes you got to shout like you're pressing. Is there anybody that want to press through some situations? Do me this one favor. Grab your neighbor by the hand and say, neighbor, there is the position of pressing. Say, neighbor, there is the potential of pressing. But last but not least, the devil needs to know that you got power. Go around and hug five people and tell them, I got power to make me walk right, power to make me talk right. I've got power to forget about my past, power to know if God be for me, he's more than a world that is against me. Somebody shout, I'm pressing my way through. Tell your neighbor, keep praying, keep pressing, keep praying, keep pressing. I want you to know that when you understand the power of God, that's when things begin to change. Tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, God is getting ready to open. Let me ask this question. Is there anybody that's waiting on their overflow? Put your hands together. Tell the Lord, thank you in advance. My overflow is here. My blessing is here. My breakthrough is here. Put them hands together and shout. Somebody shout. Shout yeah. Shout yeah. Shout yeah. Shout yeah. 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 I know has he been good to anybody? If he been good to you, just shout yeah. 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 I know has he been good to anybody? Has he made a way? Shout yeah. Shout yeah. Shout yeah. Shout yeah. 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 Keep pressing. Keep pressing. Keep pressing. Keep pressing. Keep pressing. Keep pressing. Hallelujah. I'm pressing on. It get hard at times, but I'm pressing on. I'm pressing on. Hallelujah. Just keep pressing. There is the position of pressing. There is the potential of pressing. Then there is the power of pressing. Everybody standing at this time.